Look at the 5 people that you're closest to and spend the most time with. Take the average, and that's who you are. Really, really look at who's around you. Is that who you want to be in 2 years, 5 years, or in 30 years? And if you're not, get in a community.
When you get a community of men who are like-minded like that, it becomes competitive on who can pull each other up rather than stepping on someone to get to the next level.
We help the men create a vision of self, health, relationships, wealth, and business.
Hey guys, welcome back to the TPM show. Once again, I am joined by Brad, my brother, our coach, and our CEO of TPM. And today we're going to talk about communities. Iron sharpens iron. We've all heard this before, but how many of us practice it and what can you get out of it? Brad, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, I love it. The community is such a great thing. Most men come into TPM because they're dealing with relationship issues or trying to improve themselves. And they get put in a group of men they've never met all over the world, from South Africa to Australia, New York, all leaders in the community, but they don't know each other. And there is a beauty of community that I really love because, as you said, iron sharpens iron.
It's true. What I think a lot of guys just don't want to share. And the men that we work with right now are high-level businessmen. Mm-hmm. And so they're at the top of the food chain. They can't go talk to their staff, their employees, and most of the other business people they know are competitors or in similar industries, or they're at YPO or EO or Vistage or some business organization like that, where these conversations at any depth don't occur. And so when you think about this whole idea of iron sharpens iron, you know, a lot of these guys are what we call lone wolfing it. They're going to figure it out themselves. They've come to TPM because they realize, hey, I got an issue, and getting expert advice is the shortest path to success. What's interesting, and I think a lot of people just know this or have heard it, they've done studies. And, you know, if you hang out, if you're a guy and you've never run, you're sedentary, but all of a sudden you surround yourself with 5 men who run every day, odds are, statistically, you're going to become a runner, right? Your health is going to go up. Conversely, if you are a runner and you end up, for whatever reason, right, hanging out with 5 guys who drink beer and eat nachos every day, you're going to be sedentary. You're going to get fat and all the things that come with that lifestyle. So when the guys come into our community, they're now surrounded by business leaders from all over the world who are married and have kids usually, right? Those are usually the things, and are there to better themselves, not only for themselves, but also for their families and their community.
Yeah, and initially everyone's guards up, right? When you're we talk about the 5 territories: focus on yourself, focus on your health, then your relationships, wealth, and business. And since they're successful, a lot of these guys do some of these things really well. But they don't do a lot of these things across the board. And when you start to see other men be vulnerable and share, one, it lets them let their guard down, and then they can really step up. And what we call it leveling up. And it is amazing how close these men get to each other, because now they're around people that not only are going through things, they realize, one, I'm not alone. This is not just me. Because if I'm the top dog, I'm leading a company, I'm leading a movement, I am responsible for so much, who do I talk to? Because I might see that as a weakness. When I see other people going through it, I feel a relief. At the same time, when I'm trying to improve myself, change is hard.
Yeah.
It's easy just to give up. But I think a lot of us as men too, we're a little competitive. If all of a sudden Doug's stepping up and doing the uncomfortable exercises, all of a sudden I start to level up. So surrounding yourself with good men in a community like at TPM is just critical for growth.
You know, I was going to mention the competitive thing. Just recently at the ranch, we had 10 men here. And then myself and Tim Matthews were leading these guys, and we surprised them with a fun thing to do, right? So I brought out all this paintball gear. So the guys got all geared up and all the paintball stuff. So we had men from mid-30s all the way up to their 60s. So a wide range. And it was like a bunch of little kids. They got ultra competitive, and that was kind of the joke, right? We even had a personal trainer come here. Guy who's taken 3 people to the CrossFit Games, amazing trainer, and the workouts. And some of the workouts he designed, he had people pair up in teams. And you saw these guys, and nobody would have done that workout by themselves. It was a brutal workout. But now you had guys with 70-pound kettlebells running just so they could beat the other team. And if we use that mentality for your marriage or to better yourself in any other way, and you surround yourself in a community of men who are constantly up-leveling, but also have no skin in the game other than truly wanting you to have your best, you naturally rise.
Yeah. As the saying, life's a journey, not a destination. So what got me here is not what's going to get me there.
Yep.
And my visions will change. And it's great to be around people you respect. It's great to be around people who are challenging themselves and in growing. And it helps you break down some of the stories you've told yourself. I can only do this. I'm great at this. Or the other stories, I'm not good at this. And also give you the courage. I love that word, courage. I used to not take it serious. To take a risk. Courage isn't like it's easy. No, courage is actually the opposite. Courage is I'm here, I'm afraid to go here, but I do it anyway.
Yep.
And by setting yourself up in a community, we have the activation method where they're put together, but when they go in the brotherhood, it's even a much bigger community where people are trying to level up. And you can see people going, wow, I can improve my business this way. I can improve my health this way. I can improve my relationships. You can level up against many different men in a much larger community and really grow on a week by week, month by month, or a year by year basis.
Yeah, it's incredible. I can't help but reflect on this, again, this recent group of men that were coming here. Again, all of those guys joined. We have 2 paths for men to come into the TPM community, but all of them came on the path of wanting to save their marriage. And we were talking about this, and every single one of them increased their business, work less, and increased their revenue. Why? Is it because they focused on their business? No, but they're also surrounding themselves with business leaders. We had a doctor that was sitting at the table, and he was looking at franchising his business as an opportunity, like business opportunity. 2 seats down from him is a guy who's made tens of millions franchising companies. And he said, hey, I'll give you the playbook. You know, I've been doing this for 30 years. Let me just help you with that, and I'll solve your problems. And that's just by proximity of the community, right? When we think about, for most people, how'd you meet your wife, right? Proximity. She probably was in one of your communities, one of your circles, groups of friends, barbecue, church event, or something along those lines. So how do you surround yourself or be in proximity with men who are up-leveling on all levels, not just one, not just business, not just about making money, but making money, for a purpose.
Yeah.
And also bettering their families.
Yeah, I mean, it's I got this topic now. It kind of excites me because it's very easy for me to see you. What a hot mess he is.
Thank you.
And then I had to throw that in there. But then you follow the process. You set a goal, and I see you day in and day out, week in and week out, do it, and I see the progress. And then I see I haven't moved at all. And it's just clear as day that I got to really step up, and then I got to really challenge some of my beliefs. We just had, in the Brotherhood, we help the men create a vision, really detailed vision, really creative, really exciting vision of themselves in all 5 categories of self, health, relationships, wealth, and business. And each quarter we focus on 2 of them. What's your 2 goals? We call them rocks. And over the next 90 days, here's what we're going to do. And they really drill into all these goals. At the end of the quarter, we have what we call the boardroom. And they get to say how they did on these things that they determine were really important, which aligned with their vision. And then they get to hear feedback from 8 other men.
Hey guys, I wanted to interrupt this episode because it's dawned on me that many of you guys aren't aware that we actually have a book on how to save your marriage without talking about it. Now, thousands of men have read it, they've reviewed it, and I want to give you the opportunity to do the same. If you're interested in grabbing it, it's a short read, but it's helped a lot of men just like you. And maybe you're not interested in the activation method yet, but this is a small entry point that can really turn things around for you. Go over on Amazon. We have it priced as cheap as Amazon will let us. And that way you have a resource that you can use right now to start getting some results in your marriage. Now let's get back to the episode.
Like, hey, you did great here, constructive suggestion, and then get some constructive suggestions. And what we also do is call it forward. Doug, you've been talking about this for the last year, but I haven't really seen you commit. And getting from people you trust in a community of men that you respect, it's much better than even any coach could provide.
100%. It's also one of the guys that was here mentioned, he's like, hey, I'm in Vistage, been in Vistage for years, but everybody talks around the issue because they want to be polite. Or here, the men go through so many experiential events, they get to know each other well. They just say it right to your face, like, no, BS. You need to fire that guy, your COO, because he's doing this, that, or the other. They have the difficult conversations. And then the law of reciprocity, right? I'm going to tell you the truth, and I expect you to tell me the truth. Don't sugarcoat it. Just tell me how it is. I, of course, can process it any way I want to, do whatever I want to with the information. But when you get a community of men who are like-minded like that, it becomes competitive on who can pull each other up rather than stepping on someone to get to the next level.
Exactly. And that's what you call love. Mm-hmm. Calling someone forward is because I really love them.
Yeah.
I really care about them, because the easier thing to do is just be nice, let them struggle. And in some ways, it makes me look better.
Yeah.
And that happens so much in society. And for even our kids, like that's what you want to do. Get them to move up. Sometimes you have to give them tough advice. And a lot of times in parenting day even, we don't want to do that because, the kids won't like me.
That's it. We want to be liked. It's just human nature. We want to be in the tribe and have people like us. Because if we get kicked out of the tribe and we're alone and, yada, yada. But the reality is, the more you can surround yourself with people who are going to give you the real feedback, who are going to tell you the truth, the faster you're going to make progress.
Yeah, one of my mentors, maybe it was a book I read a long time ago, said, look at the 5 people that you're closest to and spend the most time with. Take the average, and that's who you are.
Yeah.
And I just challenge all the men who are listening to this podcast now, really, really look at who's around you. Is that who you want to be in 2 years, 5 years, or in 30 years? And if you're not, get in a community. I love you to come with TPM because I think we have a great community, but get yourself around other men who are going to help you level up and call you forward.
Yeah, I'll take that a step forward, a different direction as well, Brad. I love to do the rocking chair test, which I know you're familiar with. Mm-hmm. And so imagine you're 70 or 80 years old. You're sitting on your porch, sipping some lemonade or a glass of whiskey, whatever it is for you, sitting in your rocking chair, reflecting on the most important things in your life to date. In that reflection, what are the top 3 things, right? For most men, it's going to be family, right? The family's number one. Then what else? Are you going to be happy that you took care of your health and your body so you can actually play with your grandkids? That tends to be a second one for a lot of people. Very rarely is it money or the business. They might be proud and what have you. So my point is, when you look at that, and let's just say it's your relationships, are you now being around a community of men who are working on improving their relationships so that they all can, you in particular, sit on that porch smiling as you're reflecting on your life and the journey we call life about your relationships? And if not, you need to start surrounding yourself with those kinds of people.
No question, because it's just like a New Year's resolution. I'm going to get healthier. I'm going to keep in touch with people. All of these things are important, but not urgent.
Yep.
And if you don't deal with it right now, you're going to be in this rocking chair analogy with a lot of regrets.
Yes.
And so you need to surround yourself with people who are like-minded. That's what's great about a community. I like this with Joe, but I like this with Steve.
Yeah.
I don't have to be just with one person. I can learn and benchmark against others to help myself and learn from them in a loving, supportive, but also, a competitive environment. These are men who really want to get better, not because they want to get accolades, but they just want to be better men for themselves first, their families, and then their communities, because their cup is just overflowing.
I love that. Well, I'm going to give a counterpoint, not a counterpoint, but another thing for these men to think about when it comes to community, because I've seen this happen a lot, Brad, where you have guys will start saying, hey, my marriage is on the rocks. And they'll tell me about their wife. My wife's starting to go out more. Well, who's she going out with? Well, they're divorcees or single women that are going out. And she starts to surround herself with people who aren't relationship focused, or at least aren't focused on keeping the family intact, so to speak. Conversely, for men, I see this with men too. If they're going playing golf with all your buddies and your buddies are single, that your energy is going to start to shift in that direction, even subconsciously.
When we're coaching men in relationships, that happens all the time. So what is your wife doing? Oh, she's going out with these people. I go, ugh, my spidey senses tell me that's not good. Mm-hmm. It's not what she says. It's what she's doing.
Yep.
But conversely for us, the same thing. If I want to get healthy, well, who am I hanging out with? What am I do? Am I staying up late at night? What am I socializing with?
Yes.
And there'll be a direct correlation.
Absolutely. So guys, I'm going to recommend you take inventory, right? Take inventory of the 5 people you spend the most time with today, right now in your real environment. For a lot of you guys, it's going to be coworkers, right? You're going to have some coworkers there, or you're going to have some church friends. And I know you're going to have different pockets, but who are you spending the most actual quality time with, including your family, extended family, that is, and do they match or mirror the results you want?
You have to spend that last part. You better have a vision or do the rocking chair test so you know where you want to go and you can see the gap.
Yes.
And then you surround yourself with people. And that's where, for me, when I did this, I gave up drinking.
Yeah.
Because I was going, where I want to go, and my love of alcohol and socializing wasn't going to get me there. Mm-hmm. And that was a tough thing to shift from. But by knowing where I wanted to go, it made it easier.
Nice. And then, with that, we'll stick with that one. Did you find yourself surrounding yourself with people and make it easier for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it was neat. Like, you were a great example. I gave up drinking. You got creative, brought drinks that were like, and tried to experiment. And then there's some friends that didn't feel as comfortable anymore with me not drinking. And so I had to peel those people off, not because I care, because most of my friends drink. Mm-hmm. And I have no problem. I'm in a very good place with that. But at the same time, don't want to be in environments where I have to be their friend. I have to drink, then that doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. And so I do the same thing when I look at fitness, right? Going through a phase where I'm like, okay, I want to get my fitness and my health back to where I want it to be. Then what I started doing is beating people at the gym. What are they doing? Hanging out with them, right? Getting to know that people in that community. And the more I did, the more I actually enjoyed going to the gym, because you kind of give somebody a nod, say hi. You get competitive a little bit with the lifts, you become friends, one thing leads to another. But now in my circle of vision, fitness just becomes a more reality. We get whatever we focus on, at the end of the day. And so the community is a really good one, because if you go into the TPM private community, now it's like being in a social network, but with a bunch of men improving.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to constantly be in that conversation of improvement.
In all levels. There's some guys that I just love how they step into their faith. I go, wow, I wish I could step into mine better. Other guys who have such a great workout routine, I go, oh, that's impressive. I never thought about that. And these are guys now I can reach out to and go, hey, I'm not doing too well here. Could you help me out? And I'm just shocked at how loving and supportive everybody is and the advice I get. And for me, the most important thing is my kids.
Yeah.
And I'll say, hey, I'm having trouble with this. And the amount of men who rally, who go, hey, I can help you, but also the amount of other men who say, yeah, me too. I also have that problem. And that's where not only are they helping me with the issue,
yeah,
they're helping about 20 other guys.
100%. 100%. In fact, it reminds me, recently we had a guy who discovered his daughter was cutting herself. And he posted in the community, and it's a very sensitive personal topic. And instantly guys are like, I've dealt with that. And they jump on a call together right away.
Yep.
And they form that bond. You basically get a board of advisors around you. And imagine having 100 men, let alone 5, that are all there. Like, hey, I've been down this road. Here's what to expect. Here's what you could do. Here's some possibilities for you, and encouragement along the way.
Yeah. This is a great topic. I really love it, because I love helping people be the best version of themselves. And sometimes we're our own worst enemies. And sometimes we have relationships from high school, because I've known them for a long time, which I think is not the greatest way to do things. Loyalty is a big part of my life, so yeah. I love that. But at the same time, I think if you continue to grow, you might bring them with you. And I see a lot of that. And sometimes, though, you have to cut people loose who are going to pull you down. So that community becomes such a powerful part of your life.
Well, it does. And I've talked about this a lot in the show, and I call them remember when friends, right? And we all have the remember when friends. And eventually you have to slowly disassociate from them, not because you don't care about them or love them, but you got to love yourself and where you want to go. And if you have a family, it's even more critical. The remember when friends, what I mean by that are the guys you get together with and they're like, oh, remember in high school we did this? Remember when? And there are things that you did 10, 20 years ago. You don't have new foundational memories, or at least nothing of substance to add to the conversation where you're building upon each other.
Yeah.
I love this topic, Brad. Thanks for bringing it to the table. As always, it's great having you on the show.
Thanks a lot, bud.
Yeah. Gentlemen, as we always say, in the moment of insight, take massive action. Right now, I'm going to invite you while you're running on the treadmill or whatever you're doing, if you're watching this on your sofa, sit down. Who are the 5 people, let's say 5 men in particular, that you spend the most time with, right? What are your conversations with these men? How's their physical fitness? How is their actual spiritual wealth? What's going on in their lives? What is their relationship status? Are they happy, unhappy? What's going on? Now, when you list them, do they mirror the man you want to be? If the answer is yes, you spot on. Spend more time with these guys. If the answer is no, I'm going to invite you to find a community of men, like-minded men, that are actually growing on all fronts. Now, it doesn't have to be with TPM. We'd love to talk to you if it is. And if you're a good fit for our community, we'll have that conversation. If not, find another community. But whatever you do, take action. Do this today. Don't wait. This is an easy thing for you to do. Don't put it off and go to another podcast or whatever else you want to do. Actually take action and get the results that you deserve. Gentlemen, we'll see you next time on the TPM Show.